Corporate recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is an electrical design engineer, kind of. So this person committed a grave sin in resume creation, which is they said, I'm looking for roles in electrical engineering and robotics, and embedded circuit design. And the problem with that is, and this goes for everybody, not just electrical engineers, is you need to tailor your resume to a job title. Not the job itself. What you need to do is take an aggregate of about 15 good job descriptions and then make the qualifications for your resume based on those. That should be the first thing you do, is find those 15 good job descriptions, make a qualification list of those, which is what these keys are, and then use that to mass apply to those types of roles. If you try to make a resume that is good for embedded and electrical at the same time, you will fail. Just like if you try to have a resume that shows you are a good back-end Java developer and a good full-stack developer, you will fail. You need to make sure your resume is tailored to the job title, not the job itself. So what we need for what the qualifications we need, and to let everybody know the difference between a qualification and a keyword is something the team needs, which is right here, right? So Microsoft Office, AutoCAD, wiring, harnessing, electromechanical, circuit, schematic tools, FPGA, microcontrollers, PCB, MATLAB, Siemens, Expedition, Cadence, KiCad. Those are key. Those could be considered keywords. This is the stuff that the hiring team needs. The problem is recruiters are not looking for keywords. That is a common misconception. What people think is we take 15 seconds to review your resume. And if we don't see the keywords, we don't move you forward. That is incorrect. We need to see these keywords in qualification format, or we don't move you forward. That is the thing that everybody misses. And what a qualification is what you did, which is a keyword, how you did it, the reason and result of you, or the reason or result of you doing it, and where you did it. If it's not those four things, not counting your degree or years of experience or a certificate, then it does not count. So this is why skills sections are irrelevant. So recruiters do only have about 20 seconds to find those in qualification format. So can I find this in 20 seconds? Probably not. This person has a 1 in 100, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview, and your goal should be less than 1 in 50. So anything over 1 in 50 is bad. And after people follow my advice, they usually get a 1 in 7. So if you want to have 1 interview per 7 applications, follow my advice. All right, so 20 seconds on the clock. Can I find it? And go. Okay, relevant coursework, doesn't matter. Wrote C#, blah, 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 interface. No, don't care. I'm not HTML. Wrote code in C, don't care. Authored execution, okay, nothing there is mattered. Okay, there we go. Actual something that is useful. Wrote C+ code in Lambda, don't care. All right, and that is time. So this person does not succeed because you need 75% of the above. So this person has filled their resume with a bunch of, well, stuff that's just not relevant. So there's a metaphor I like to use, and if you have seen any video before, you'll probably see this metaphor, so you can skip a couple of minutes ahead. But I want you to imagine that you are hungry, right? You're hungry, you want a hamburger, you go to your local hamburger restaurant, and you say, hey, I would like a cheeseburger with pickles and onions, and that's it. And they say, okay, cheeseburger with pickles and onions, and you say, cheeseburger with pickles and onions. So the waiter goes back to the kitchen, says, okay, and they bring you back a hot dog with cheese and onions and pickles. And they would be like, enjoy. And you would say to them, bro, what? Why? This is not what I wanted. And they say, yes, it is. You say, no, it's not. I wanted a cheeseburger with pickles and onions. This is a hot dog with pickles and onions and cheese. And they say, well, a hot dog just like a hamburger has meat. A hot dog just like a hamburger has buns. A hot dog just like a hamburger has pickles, cheese, and onions. It can. So this is what you wanted, and you would walk away and not pay because rightfully you did not get what you wanted. And this is the problem that almost every single person does, is they fill their resume with hot dogs, stuff that is kind of related to what we want, but is not directly the thing we want. So in this case, C# could be, C++ is needed for some of these roles, but not all of them. And state-of-the-art robotics is not really something we need. And you said, different control systems. The problem is I need you to write those control systems out. Saying control systems is a hot dog. Writing out Siemens and PLC and the other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head is what we're looking for. So PCB is something we need down here, and KiCad is as well, and microcontrollers. So this is actually a good sentence. The problem is you filled the first part with stuff that I don't care about. So first, relevant coursework is never relevant. I do not need anything involving relevant coursework unless you're a PhD level and you took a very unique capstone, in which case, yes, you probably do want to put it. The rest of this resume also does not look good. You want it to look like this. This is how you do it. The link to that is in my description below. It is the best way. Again, this is one of the ways you get a 1 in 7 is if you make it look like this. The fact that it is boring and basic and has a lot of white space is intentional. And also, there's no skill section. Do not put a skill section. Everybody loves skill sections, and I do not know why. So here, right? Wrote C#. Cool. Not really looking for C#. Maybe if I was looking more for an embedded engineer, I would, but not an electrical design engineer. So this part I don't care about. Vehicle maintenance systems, I do care because that tells me the industry and what you did. But the rest of this, I don't think I need. Yeah, none of this I really need, so this is irrelevant. And again, you already have it here. You already mentioned the other stuff here, so this is irrelevant. Author test plans, is that something I needed? No. So unrelated, 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 unrelated. Oh, this sentence was actually semi-related, so this one's okay. I just cut it off. And then we go down here, and then we go again. Wrote C#, not really what I'm looking for. Not really what I'm looking for here. So this is the big problem is you need 75% of the above, and only one of your sentences has anything even remotely remotely similar to what I'm looking for. So this goes for everybody, right? Accountants, software engineers, everybody fills their resume with these hot dogs that we do not need. I need this stuff. And I know it's basic and it's boring and X should imply Y, but the biggest rule, the third resume rule, right? First one is make sure your contact information is correct. That is absolutely critical. But the third most important resume creation rule is if it is implied, you did not do it. You need to directly state what it is we're looking for. You cannot make it so that it implies it. It has to be directly stated. So that is why this resume fails. And if you ever need any more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I want to thank everybody for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps a small creator like me out. And if you are my member if you are a member, you get access to videos a little bit early. I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for supporting me. Thank you so much for my members, and if anybody wants to join, you can do so in the link below. Thank you again, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a data analyst. So what we need for a data analyst is degree, industry. Again, I cannot be in every industry, so I do need to see that you've at least whatever industry you're in. I just need to see that. SQL, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, influencing stakeholders and explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. This is critical. A lot of what your job will be as a data analyst, and I'm not joking. I know I do hyperbolic stuff. This is not a joke. Is you need to tell Elon Musk that switching Twitter to X is a bad idea, and the reason it's a bad idea is because of X data that shows it's a bad idea. And here is the Tableau PowerPoint that shows why it's bad. That is going to be your job, is to explain why something is bad or good on data for somebody that cannot even turn on their monitor. That is going to be a large part of it. So I also need to see how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is. MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, Python, R, multiple projects and deadlines, and nice to have is cloud. So this person has a terrible ratio, so this is an absolutely garbage resume, and they told me specifically to roast them. So I will be as mean as possible because that is what they wanted. They wanted me to be as mean as possible, so I will do it. This is what you asked for. So 20 seconds on the clock, and Go. Okay, none of this matters. None of that matters. Where's your... okay, office manager, Google Sheets, improving data, company-wide visibility. Don't care. Automated insights, I kind of care, but you wrote it poorly. Reducing time, don't really care. Technical presence, clear resources. This is, again, this is a hot dog, not a hamburger. And time. So, let me read what they wrote, but this is bad, and you had the right idea, you just didn't execute it correctly, which is fine. That's what I'm here to tell you how to do. So, hey, love your stream. Started watching since I started my job search. I moved to New York 2 months ago as a green card holder. I have been applying with various resumes, 0 interviews. Okay, yes, I understand this. Like, so first off, you do want to put green card holder here. As a green card holder, you are basically able to work almost every single job. You should put green card holder in New York, wherever you are in New York. So it would be green card holder in New York, New York. You should definitely do that. It will remove the bias because, let's face it, some people are biased, and that is not good. It is not great, but that's unfortunately the way the world works. And this allows you to circumvent that bias by putting it on your resume. And if they decline your resume based on that and green card, you have rights to sue. So, not a lawyer, but I do know a little bit of hiring law because you have to as a recruiter. So, you want to put that up there to protect yourself. But even without that, even with U.S. citizen, this is a very bad resume. So, let's see. This resume is from last week. Just started applying. Most of my work experience is from outside the U.S. from a remote contract role. Can you kindly take a look at my resume, give me some tips? Yeah. Okay, so first off, biggest thing is relocating is a giant red flag. If you say you are open to relo, you are basically getting rejected. What you want to put is moving to X by Y date, can move earlier if needed. That is what you want to write. Otherwise, you want to put where you're located, because if they see you're out of state, they will reject you, right? And I don't mean out of country. I mean out of the state. Searching for a job is very, very location specific. So we are going to put here, green card holder in X wherever you are applying to. Then we get down to the actual bullet points, and here is where more problems occur. So first off, technical skills sections do not count. They do not count. They do not count. Nothing here matters. Nothing here matters. Nothing here matters. So this is immediately wasted. Also, most of the jobs require a degree. I do not see your degree. There it is, all the way at the bottom. You need to put that up there. Also, since you graduated in 2026, you should put the month that you graduated. If you've graduated over 3 years ago, you don't want to put the year, just say status graduated, but it will help you if you just graduated. So your education should be here because you actually have it too. So remember, education should be here. Then this, remember, I don't know why you wrote your resume sort of like this. This is not the formatting you should use. This is how it should look. But the bigger problem beyond formatting is just the fact that these bullet points are bad. They really don't tell me the stuff that I need, right? Design and maintain an availability and reporting dashboard. Okay, so dashboard could be it. Using Google Sheets can be it, which is fine. But improving data quality and company-wide visibility, centralized blah, 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 that's not what I'm looking for. A big thing, and this is something that a lot of people in tech do, specifically in data analyst, is when you are in school, everything is about making the data correctly, right? And if you have incorrect data, it's a big no-no. But the problem is once you actually start applying to jobs, no one cares. And I mean that nicely, like no one cares how you got the data. If you took these two dice and you rolled them and they said, all right, it landed on a 6 and a 3, and that actually panned out to accurate data, they would not care. All they care about is what you can do with the data. And that is a big problem, is I don't care how you got the data. I care that you solved problems with the data. And this does not show me how you solved problems with the data. it only shows me that you got the data, right? Automated reimbursement insights. Okay, why is that impressive? I don't know. Using Python and manual ETL, that's actually good. Improving reporting and allowing leadership. This is good, right? Like, this whole sentence is good. I think you kind of buried the lead a little bit in it, but overall, this is an okay sentence. Then we go down to here and created and standardized workflow, documented process, reducing blah, 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 blah. No, this is not explaining complex topics. I need you to, right? Like, your job is not necessarily to create training documents. Your job is to convince Elon Musk. And I need to see in your resume how you convinced Elon Musk. Then we go down to here, and this is okay to have on your resume. The problem is none of this is relevant. So what I would actually do here is just have a single sentence, right? A single sentence here that just says, worked as a pharmacy with cross-functional teammates or something. Because what's actually... Oh, wait, no, you've only been there for a year. Yeah, no, just remove it. This is not helpful. You do not want this. The pharmacy technician could be safely deleted. I was thinking that you could use it for years of experience, but you've only been there for about a year, so it's not worth it. This one, though, is a good green flag. So even though this is not directly related, the fact that you've been there for 5 years is insane. They are going to love that. Then we go down to your projects, and I didn't even get to these, but again, designed a self-reporting dashboard, a centralized provider. Why is that useful? I don't know. Automated data copying sheets using script to monitor and oversight. I don't know why that's important. You have to tell me why this is important. This is why it's important to say the reason and or result is I see no results here. And I don't mean numbers. I mean, like, I don't know why you did what you did. So I need you to go back to the drawing board, and I need you to have this stuff in here. Cannot be in a skills section. Also, again, you cannot, don't do this. It has to be in the bullet points. And I've gotten plenty of a data analyst jobs, so I know what I'm talking about on this one. I've gotten people on visas a 1 in 30 ratio. So with data analyst. So you need to actually make it like a good one. Design a table. Yeah, again, I don't care about designing a table. I care what you did with it. And again, the only thing I see here is SQL and nothing else. I don't see MS Office, although let me clarify. I don't see the Excel equivalent of MS Office. I think I saw Google, but not Google Sheets, which would be that. I don't see how you influence stakeholders. I don't see explaining complex topics. I don't see data visualization. I don't see Tableau, Power BI, Looker. I don't see how you solved a single problem with data. I do see ETL and Python, but I do not see multiple projects and deadlines. So that is why you are struggling and you are failing. Next, resume. This is a resume of a back-end software engineer with a focus on Java. So what we need for a back-end Java engineer is Java, Spring, Spring Boot, Maven, SSD, SQL, RESTful API or REST APIs, microservices, CI/CD, object-oriented programming, OOP, Git, Linux, Unix, Agile, Scrum, Cloud, architecting your systems, Hibernate, Docker, Kubernetes, Kafka, and rare but still nice to have if I see it on here. But remember, I don't want to see this take up all of your bullet points. The rare stuff is a garnish on your dish, not the whole meal. Is full stack, so JavaScript, React, Angular, Vue, DevOps, and RabbitMQ. Those are very rare, but do exist. So 20 seconds on the clock. We do not know how good or bad this resume is, but let's find out. All right, backend, don't care about this. This is, I need you to write more about that. Teaching assistants, okay. All right, drove 100 in revenue. No one cares about your revenue. With Python, why would I look? No, you said a Java developer. None of this is related. Okay, none of this is related. This doesn't matter. Architecting is good at least. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And time. That is it. So this would not pass. Not even counting the OPT one. This is just not enough to pass. Is aiming for full new grad early software roles as an international. Just recently heard back from a big tech company after incorporating your advice. Okay, so we're closer. We're not there yet, but we're closer. So, because you did at least have one thing in the second bullet point that is like salvaging this whole resume. But don't know if I got lucky or this resume is decent. It is not decent, but it does have a singular good bullet point, which is probably alone what's getting you this. So, oh boy, there's a lot we're going to have to delete on this. So first off, I don't need this. This doesn't matter, right? The only thing that I need to know in the summary, and you don't even have to say summary, is how we could work with your visa. So if you need an approved I-140, just delete this. Unfortunately, that's the hardest thing to get right now is an approved I-140. But you are eligible for OPT and STEM OPT. They don't know what that means. You have to tell them. You could say what you want to say is, do not need sponsorship for 3 years as I am on an OPT or STEM OPT. But if you are looking specifically to get an H-1B, then no summary is going to help you because that is the hardest part. So then you could delete this. So then we go down to here, and your formatting again is bad. This is what your formatting should look like. Here, nothing here needs to be bolded. No bolding. And then I don't think you really need to say the teaching assistant. I don't think that's needed. And since you already you haven't graduated yet. You're about to, though. So once you fully graduate with your master's, then you can delete this because you don't need it. But until you graduate with your master's, you keep this on. And again, each of these should be one line. Then we go down to here, and there is literally nothing here I would be looking for. Oh, here it is. React, I think, is it. Is that the... Oh, got rid of my own thing. I think I missed React because it was filled with so many hot dogs. So... the fact that you filled it with so much stuff that I do not care about is why I missed the stuff that I could need. So that's bad. Also, why are you having Python and PyTorch? You're a Java developer. I don't care about this for a Java role. So this entire thing can be deleted. Especially because, like, React is a nice to have. I need the rest of it. Like, you don't even mention Java until all the way down here. Also... why do I care about revenue? You're a software engineer, bro. No one cares about that. You're going to cost the company money no matter what you do. So, improved reliability for this. Nope, don't care. That's not related. But architecting a Java Spring microservice with Spring data, and then I don't care about JPI, and RESTful APIs to unify web and mobile resources across distributed SQL databases is a good sentence. This sentence alone, once you remove the red, is probably the only reason they even made you get it. They even got you an interview in the first place. This is how I want you to write it. It's still a little technical, but at least the right idea is there. Reduced user interfacing issues by optimizing. Nope, nothing here is related. Don't care about it. You already mentioned microservices up above, so you do not need to mention it again. You do not want to mention the same keyword in the same job. You do want to mention the same keyword in multiple jobs, but not the same one. Cut deployment, don't care. But streamlining a Maven is relevant. Stop with the numbers. Stop the numbers. The numbers make it worse. Streamlining Maven dependencies, optimizing. You have AWS and it's all the way down there? Okay, this part is unneeded. This part is okay, right? This is the one time a number is actually good, is lead for engineers. So this is the problem with your resume, is you fill it with stuff that are hot dogs. Like, no one cares about it if it's not here, right? Like, I understand that you think that it is impressive that you save $12 million trillion, but the problem is the hiring team does not care 1 ounce about that. All they need to see is architected a Java Spring Boot microservice using Spring Data RESTful APIs to unify our web and mobile resources across distributed SQL databases in an AWS environment. That sentence alone will get you interviews. So once you make those changes, you should start getting more. Although I will say, even though my average is 1 in 7, for internationals that need H-1B services, it's usually a 1 in 30 to a 1 in 100, which is better than most of them, which is like 1 in 500. So that's the odds you're up against. But like, I need you to have actually relevant bullet points because none of this stuff matters. Next resume. This is a resume of a software developer or software engineer full stack. So what we need for full stack is degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, React, React.js, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, SQL or NoSQL, RESTful API or REST API, Cloud, CI/CD, Git. If you do put cloud and you do put Google Cloud Platform, you need to put the full name out and then GCP for the first time. You don't need to do that for AWS. The market's weird. Then .NET or Python or Java, and a bonus points for any of that stuff. And I want to make special mention for TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. You need that. That is, I understand how basic that is for a full stack developer, but that is critical. You need that up front. That needs to be in your first bullet point in the first half of the first sentence. Otherwise, you're probably not going to move forward. So this person has an unknown ratio. So we do not know how good or bad this is, but 20 seconds on the clock and go. Okay, degree good. Okay, cool, perfect. Built a quiz generation testing platform. Figma designs I don't really care about, but React, TypeScript, JavaScript, again, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. I'll explain that in a second, and this is too long. Built a documentation pipeline using Node, Express, Docker, Git. Okay, good, and latex, PDFs, Word. Okay, it's too wordy. You have the right idea here. So let me read what you wrote, but this is probably a 1 in 75 in that you do have the correct information, but you bury it amongst so much other stuff that it's highly likely they're going to miss what they need. But let me read what you wrote. Hello, love your stream. Thank you. Started watching. I moved to New York. Did I just review this one? My brain is not working. Let's see. No. This is different. Okay. I guess 2 people in the same area. I've been applying with various resumes and 0 interviews. This resume is from last week. I just started applying today. Okay. So we don't know. I'm expecting, even though we haven't gotten results, it's probably a 1 in 75 to a 1 in 100. Again, it has some stuff. It's just hard to find. Let's see. Can you kindly look at the resume, give you some tips? Thank you. Yeah, no worry. Did I look at the wrong resume for the previous one? I'm a little confused. Let's see. No. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, here's what we need to do. So you're wondering like why I X'd out HTML5 and CSS3 despite asking for that. And the answer to that is I was not asking for HTML5 or CSS3. I was asking for HTML and CSS. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but if JavaScript is different than Java, which it is, then it's entirely probable that HTML5 is different than HTML. Same with CSS is different than CSS3. So when you write this, be very, 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 very specific with your words, because I do not need CSS3. I just need HTML and CSS. So take away the 5, take away the 3, and then that's good. And then here is built a quiz generator and testing platform. This part's fine, but I don't care about translating Figma designs, right? So I would say by using and then start with TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And then you can put React. And since you already put React.js, I do not need React webhooks because it's either or. And then we have Node.js, which is good. And then we have SQL, which is good. And testing. And then I don't care about Cypress, right? But you can just say, and SQL, right, to test across multiple zones. So this would be the actual sentence. Because the goal should be 3 to 6 keywords per bullet point, and each bullet point needs to be a maximum of 3 lines. So this would make more sense. This immediately shows me more of what I need. Then we go down here. Build a document processing pipeline using Node.js. You already mentioned Node.js up above. Remember, if you mention it, so Node.js here, good. Node.js here, bad. Node.js here, good. You want to mention it in multiple jobs, but you don't want to double up in the same job. So that's the rule. Docker, I don't really care about Docker that much. That's like a real rare nice to have. Git, I do care about. Google Cloud Platform, I absolutely do. And then the converted exam questions, I don't care about this. This is too technical and is not needed. But you can just say that converted exam questions stored on Google Cloud Storage, allowing schools to generate print-ready, and then you could just say exam papers with branding, right? Papers with branding. So this would shrink it down. And then you would actually need one... No, that actually... then you would need one more bullet, like one more keyword here. But otherwise, this is how you would do it. And then build a GitHub Actions, good. Using Next.js, good. Flutter Dart, I don't need. Also, you already mentioned... No, you did not mention Next.js. No, SQL, good. You already mentioned SQL, but it's fine to put it there. And serverless Google Cloud Infrastructure, delivering apps that digitized paper-based record keeping, right? So this is what I want you to start doing is you're pontificating too much. And I know that's hypocritical coming from me, but you are over-explaining unnecessary details, and it's very, very likely that they would have trouble actually finding what they do need buried under all this junk. So I need you to be very, very concise with your keywords and your sentences, and I need more keywords, right? Because you wrote them mostly correctly on how you did it and the reason to result, and less of this junk stuff, because you really have some good sentences buried deep. Next, resume. This is a resume of a DevOps engineer. So what we need for a DevOps engineer is DevOps Cloud and its words. So EC2, I don't know the ones off the top of my head for AWS and GCP. CI/CD, GitHub Actions, Python, PowerShell, Bash, Linux, Unix, Infrastructure as Code, IAC, Kubernetes, Terraform, Helm, Ansible, and bonus for AI, Databricks, and industry. So this person has a terrible format. This is getting them 150 plus to 1, so this means this resume is a bad resume. So 20 seconds on the clock. I won't be able to find what I need because, again, it is a bad resume, but let's see how bad it is. So, and start. Okay, nothing here matters. Experience. Provided high-level technical support for nothing here is here. Manage user groups, Active Directory. Okay, I would not actually think this is a DevOps. I would assume this person applied for the wrong role. All right, what did they say? Applied again because I forgot to remove that. Let's see. You did remove me about 2 months ago. I hired an HR to help me make a resume that is relevant to the industry, specifically where they're located. It was a month ago. I got one interview by applying to a job post on Interview, but I do get offers, but they're not for DevOps. I'd like to hear your opinion about this resume. It's bad. I mean, again, the problem is this is outside the U.S., and while I have gotten people jobs outside the U.S. in Canada, Mexico, the U.K., the EU, Africa, and in, I think it was Singapore, the problem is I'm not... Most of my advice is about like 90 to 95% as effective outside the U.S., so there are some differences, but I can't tell if these differences are based on the industry in your area or if this is just a bad resume, but I am leaning to the fact that this is a bad resume, that you got scammed. They said the skills section is only for the first job after getting the first job. You don't need a skills section anyway. Okay, so here's what I would do. The problem with this is everything. No summary. Remember, summaries are not important. No technical skills section. The problem is you identified most of the technical skills sections correctly, right? Like, these are the things that I would want. The problem is they need to be here, right? Or alternatively in the project section. So the skills section does not count, but what's in it, I do need down there. So then I need your education to be up top, because I believe this is relevant to the industry. So your education should be up there. I don't believe I need the full stack MERN course. That part I should have. And then the relevant projects are the actual relevant things. And you actually wrote those kind of okay, right? Built a DevOps focus, Toto. I don't care about Toto unless that's specific to the area in Israel where you're applying. Using ASP.NET, probably don't care about ASP.NET. And React, probably don't care about that. But GitLab, CI/CD pipelines is good. So that one's fine. And Docker, I don't care about. And then building a 3-node, again, just say Kubernetes cluster, because Kubernetes is something I would need. With K3, Raspberry Pi, don't care about on Linux. Using Helm and Argo, don't care about Argo, but the rest of it is. So, like, your problem is you wrote everything I needed all the way down here. And you wrote it actually okay. Like, these are not terrible bullet points themselves. They're a little long. They're a little bit too much unnecessary stuff, but this would be passable enough to get you a job. So whoever wrote this for you, I hope you can get your money back, because it's not good if it's only getting you 1 out of every 150, especially because of how small that market is. You should be getting a 1 in 7 or less even, I think, just based on how teeny that market is. So yeah, I don't need any of this. Right? Like, this needs to be deleted and start again. You need to use this format, because I think this is the second or third time you submitted, and none of them are really following my advice. And that's I can't really help you if you don't fully follow the advice, but this is not working. Like, this is why you're getting rejected. Is I assumed you applied to the wrong role, because there's nothing here that I would need. Right? Nothing here I would need. Nothing here what I would need. Everything is in the skills section. Nothing is in the bullet points. The actual bullet points that are written relatively well, too, are hidden all the way down here at the bottom. So please fix this, because I want to make sure you can get a job. But this is all I can do for this resume, and I wanted to thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I wanted to give a extra thanks for the members of my members who are supporting me. You get access to videos a little bit early, and you can join in the link below. I just wanted to thank you for supporting me. As a small creator, your membership really, really does help. So thank you so much. And that's all I can do for this video, and I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search. Later, y'all.